we've built a platform for normal people to do more together in real life, and I think that's something that's significantly missing from all of the other, I call them plastic products. Let's put a filter on this, make it look better, I feel insecure, I need to do this at the gym, I need to get plastic surgery. It's all a big facade.
Michael Askew, co-founder and the CEO of Belong app. Michael's journey is a testament to the power of human connection in an increasingly disconnected world. From his early experience navigating loneliness in foreign lands to founding Belong, he has demonstrated unwavering dedication to fostering genuine community interactions. Through Belong, Michael is not just building an app, he's creating a lifeline for those seeking meaningful connections and a sense of belonging. What kind of criteria would you advise the entrepreneurs if they're looking for a partner?
What I would do...
Welcome back, Alphas, to a new inspiring episode of the Alpha Talks podcast. Today in the studio, I've got a very special Alpha for you today. It's my pleasure to introduce our Alpha guest today, a visionary entrepreneur who has made it his mission to combat one of the most pressing issues of our time, loneliness. Please welcome Michael Askew, a co-founder and the CEO of Belong app. Michael's journey is a testament to the power of human connection in an increasingly disconnected world. From his early experience navigating loneliness in foreign lands to founding Belong. So join me in welcoming Michael Askew to the Alpha Talks show. Michael, thank you very much for being with us today. It's a pleasure and it's an honor.
Yeah, thank you very much for welcoming me on the show. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
brother. Thank you, brother. Michael, we have a question that I always start the show with, which is our listeners and our viewers will see the thumbnail, they will see you, they will see the graphics, the title, and they will think it's extremely interesting episode.
Okay.
What can you promise them today that they will gain if they gave us their time?
Honesty.
Boo. Ooh, that's short and sweet.
Yeah.
Short and sweet answer.
Honesty.
I love that. Let's start with, can you tell us who's before that? How are you today? How do you feel?
I'm very well, thank
Sure.
you. It's Friday evening here in Dubai.
Yeah.
It's been a long week. I must admit.
But I'm fine.
It's been a long week, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, life's good.
Good to have you today. So Michael, in a nutshell for our audience, who's Michael? In a nutshell, so for people who don't know you, like if you want to, who are you?
Sure, I'd class myself as extremely genuine. Someone that's navigating through life and trying to solve a real world problem. Someone that you can depend on.
I like the statement.
Yeah,
That's an alpha trait.
Someone that you can depend on.
Yeah.
And someone that's on a mission to solve loneliness globally,
Yeah.
which is a significant problem
True.
in today's world.
True. I love how you started it. Let's go backwards. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood? A little bit. You're from UK.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So raised and born in, or born and raised in London. Left school, didn't really know what to do with myself, if I'm being honest. I got a job as an apprentice in carpentry. So I'd done that for 4 years, elevated up to sort of site management. So I'd look after projects across London, then moved up to sort of project management level. Quickly realised that London is hard to get ahead. You know, from taxes, from overhead costs, rent, and all of this sort of stuff.
At that young age, you realized that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew growing up, right?
True.
I haven't come from money, so I knew that I had to do something to get ahead in life. No one was giving me handouts.
True.
So I looked at the Middle East. It made a lot of sense to me because I'm quite...
Why Middle East?
Because I'm quite logical, right? It's no
Look at Middle
tax.
East.
It's no tax.
Yeah.
It's sunshine.
True.
And it's safe.
Yeah.
So I applied for lots of jobs in the Middle East and nothing came of it for a long time. And then I finished one project in London, got introduced to a company that was building shopping malls in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh at the time. And I had really no idea of what Saudi Arabia was at that stage.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, it was sort of like we see it on TV and we were sort of terrified of what's
True,
going on.
true, true.
We didn't
The media,
We didn't
true.
understand the perception. So Anyway, I bit the bullet and packed my bags and moved over to Saudi Arabia at 22, and fantastic experience, from people to culture to tourism.
How long you stayed there?
4 years.
Wow.
It was one of the best moves in my life, is moving to Saudi Arabia.
4 years. And then from Saudi, you moved to Dubai.
Yes, I stayed in Saudi for 4 years.
What were you doing there? Just for
building shopping malls, man. Like in Jeddah, Taif, Dammam, some really remote areas.
I love the background because it switches to what you're doing now. So it's interesting. So from shopping malls in Saudi, then...
Well, essentially it was project management, right? So a client comes to you with a vision and a budget, and they say, we want to build this mall, this is our budget. So you look at locations, you find them, and you deliver and coordinate and engage thousands of people over a 2 to 3 year period to deliver someone's vision.
Did you like this kind of job?
Loved it.
Loved it.
Loved driving things forward.
Wow.
Yeah, in line with budget and program, of course. So, yeah.
Very interesting. And then why Dubai came to the map?
So I'd done 4 years in Saudi, and my goal was always to save capital. That was my goal. I wasn't in Saudi because I preferred to be away from my family. No, I was in Saudi because I needed to get ahead. And I had friends here in Dubai, but whenever I came over here, I'd always look at their lifestyles and think, guys, you ain't saving.
Yeah, true. You're burning.
You're burning.
True.
Probably more than you were back home,
Exactly.
you know. So I'd done 4 years there, moved over here with a new company, worked with them for sort of 5 years.
Okay.
And just
in the same field. Like this.
Same field, Altair.
Okay. Altair.
Yeah, one of the big construction companies here. But when I was in Saudi Arabia, I went through significant loneliness, man. Like significant.
As a foreigner, or you felt this is in the community as well?
Well, there wasn't much of a community, and the reason I enjoyed Saudi so much is because of the work. Like, I love to work.
So that's how you were passing time?
Yeah, I loved it. So I was always busy, and either at a Taif airport, which has got nothing there, or Dammam on my own, and no real Western people back in those days.
Course,
I mean, things have significantly shifted, man.
True.
When I was back there, you'd very rarely see, let's say, a white person.
Exactly. Yeah, 200%. It was an amazing experience, I believe.
Yeah,
100%.
You go to the shopping mall and you're the alien.
Yeah.
You are the alien.
True.
People walking through, staring at you, like, who's this guy?
Where you come from? You're supposed to be up.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what it was like as an experience.
A quick note, before we jump into this episode, I find this incredibly intriguing. On the back end of our YouTube channel, it says around 75% of you who watch this channel frequently over the lifetime of this channel haven't yet hit the subscribe button. I just wanted to ask you for a favor. It helps this channel so much if you choose to just subscribe. It helps us invite guests that give you great value. It helps us scale the production, and as well makes this show bigger and bigger for you. So if I will ask you just one favor, and if you enjoyed the previous episodes and you're currently enjoying this episode, could you please hit the subscribe button? I love your support. It's incredible to see all your comments and engagement, and we are just starting. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Thank you so much, and I will repay this gesture by making sure that everything we do on this show makes it bigger, and better. I'm committed to do this promise. Do we have a deal? Thank you so much for subscribing. It means the world to me.
Through the transition of loneliness, I use digital apps
to
try and solve and connect people. But it's like Tinder and Bumble, but I wasn't looking for that.
Yeah.
I was looking for people to...
Shit, you made me remember this Bumble thing.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So I was looking for people to go out and have a good time with. And that was my problem. And I couldn't find a solution to it. Facebook groups, they were no good. Instagram connected me with friends back home, which made my situation worse because I could see what I was missing out on.
True.
My friends are going out, London Marathon, beers in the garden. There's no alcohol in Saudi,
true.
you know. So it's I saw everything I was missing.
They just allowed it yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Man, you missed it.
it was a matter of time. It was a matter of time. I mean, to keep up with Dubai and for the visions that they've got over there, they need to adapt, and they will.
And then, so when you were over there, you felt this loneliness.
Yes, I felt the loneliness significantly, used all the apps that was available, and I actually deleted Instagram when I was there because it made me want to get back on a plane all the time. You know, after year one, I thought, right, now I've got enough money to buy a house. After year two, I thought, right, now I can buy another buy-to-let.
Yeah.
After year three, and I stayed 4 years because they incentivize you on bonus schemes over there, and so I was getting paid very well for my age, you know.
Yeah.
So I left at 26, moved over here, but like I said, I used all the products there. I couldn't find a solution.
Even here, you mean here you tried? You kept going with all these products. Or?
Here is I'll come on to here, but I mean in Saudi, like I said, I used all the apps that was available. None of them helped me. And I mapped out an idea. I had a vision for a solution because I thought to myself, how hard can it be to build an app? You know? Like, how hard can this be? Because if you solve a problem with anything in business, you've got a good chance of surviving. And I think, right, I've got a big problem. And I kept meeting people saying,
the same
thing. So I thought, right, I think there's a big enough market. But I never done it. Anyways, fast forward 4 years, I moved to Dubai. And I would go through like Brits in Dubai, marathon runners in Dubai, Spartans in Dubai, and all these groups. And it was like, I've just moved here, I've got no friends, I need to meet people. So my ideas would start rolling back of my concept in Saudi. And I kept reading articles about how lonely people are and disconnected. And I thought, why is no one solving this problem? Because it's significant. But when you look at the other social apps of Instagram, it's all about where I am, what I'm doing, sharing it with your followers and existing friends. It's not designed to be social. It's actually, ironically, completely unsociable by design. It completely disconnects us. And in Facebook, is obviously, as the years have gone on, it's for a much older demographic. TikTok, who knows? Who knows what's going on there? It's like watching TV.
True.
You know?
True.
It's a platform where I watch my nephew sit there for 2 hours, and I think, what are you doing, man? Go out
TikTok.
and play with a ball or something. You know,
we'll play football outside.
So I thought that there was enough people in Dubai suffering from loneliness, and we're come on to, obviously now I've launched a business in New York as well, and cities are extremely lonely places for people, and long gone are the days where you go to a bar and catch someone's eye and say hello, how are you, and you become best friends.
It's finished.
We order our taxis by clicking a button, we order our food by clicking a button. Why is it? Efficiency.
True.
You get what you want fast, and you're willing to pay for it majority of time. So what we offer in our business is a community, a hub for cities to come together and make friends fast, and then stay part of what's happening across the city that you're in.
Okay. You have a co-founder, right?
Yes.
It's been with you through all these thinking process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matthew Gaziano is my co-founder, and he's we're husband and wife.
Yeah,
you know,
the business.
Husband and wife. He's I'm not saying who the.
Let's not define who's who.
That's the relationship. Do you know what I mean? So,
but partnership, actually, it's a marriage thing.
Yeah, it is, and you need someone that complements your weaknesses with strengths, and vice versa, in order to succeed.
True.
It's very hard to do these sort of things alone because you're juggling so much.
He was with you in Saudi, or
I met him in Saudi on my compound in Saudi, and we got on extremely well. And whilst I was there for like 4 years, because I was always traveling around, we started looking at, right, we don't want to work for someone for the rest of our lives. What business can we start? So we were looking at recruitment, project management, shipping, air freight. We done so much modeling on other companies. And then when I had this idea of loneliness, I knocked on Matt's villa and I said, "Look, man," I said, I think there's something here with this, but we didn't have the knowledge, the time or the capital to bring it to life. So we agreed it was a good idea. I moved here, and then I rang him back and said, listen, I really think that there's something here, because I'm consistently meeting people and they're saying how hard it is to meet new people off dating apps in real life. And Meetup and these other products, yeah, they're there, but no one's using them.
True.
And yeah, they're big and they're global and all that sort of stuff, but is it about quality or is it about quantity when it comes to these things? Because you want to go out, you want to meet people like you. So I think that's where we've really shifted the needle with logic, algorithms, and consistently working with users. But yeah, Matt, for me, is...
how do you divide the responsibilities at work?
I think our personalities define the responsibilities. Matt is contractual, analytical, and extremely commercial. My role in the business is obviously raise capital is a big one. Keep a very close eye on finances, runways, shareholder like discussions, meetings, presentations, marketing, and managing the team. And that's how we sort of divide. But everything we do, Matt's desk is here, like me and you.
Yeah, it's very close.
Our laptops is there. That's how we work. So, you know,
that's good. Husband and wife.
That's how we work. So it's and we train together every day, 6:15 a.m. 6 days a week. We do
buddies, real buddies.
Gym, yeah. We're real buddies. Yeah. Buddies. Well, I've worked with him for 8 years. We've never had an argument. Never had an argument.
You know, let me ask you a question, then I'll dig into the app. A lot of entrepreneurs are watching us, and they're always thinking, how can I find the right partner? You passed through all this process and identifying the partner, of course.
Yeah.
But what kind of criteria would you advise the entrepreneurs if they're looking for a partner? Yeah. Yes, entrepreneurship is a lonely journey, but the best thing in reality, to have a co-founder.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you agree with me on this, but having a 100%. Buddy with you to drive the vision.
Yeah.
But how to find this person? What's your criteria?
100%. So what I would do, and when I'm looking for other people to come into the business, I write down mine and Matt's strengths and weaknesses. And then I sort of do a summary analysis of like what we're lacking in the business and what areas of departments need steam and experience to come in, right? Because we don't know it all. We're still figuring it out.
Complement each other.
Yeah, but we're still figuring our journey out, and that's why I have strategic advisors come on board who have done it for 30 years and can come in and look at the problem and diagnose it very quickly with a solution. So what I advise any founders to do is write down all the things you're terrible at. And finance, be honest, man.
Management, people, hiring.
Be honest, because a lot of people these days have got extremely big egos, you know, and they're not honest with themselves on what they're bad at. I mean, I'm terrible at a lot of stuff, and I know that. That's why I get people in the business to strengthen my weakness. So look at all the things that you're weak at, then define them in sort of like a job role structure. So if it's finance, if it's procurement, if it's commercial, like anything to do with contractual type things, if you can't focus and you need someone to do business plans, write all this stuff down, go onto a software called Dripify. Dripify is a fantastic analytical tool. You plug that into LinkedIn, you write down the mandates that you're looking for, a technical founder, a commercial founder, and you pump that out to LinkedIn in your city. Then you start meeting these people and sort of bottlenecking and going for a coffee and getting involved with them. And that's what I've done with a lot of strategic advisors who are now vested, own equity in my business. And you don't just give someone equity. You vest them over a 2-year period typically, and you put them on a 3-month cliff. 3-month cliff means that it's a dating period, you know?
Not giving equity right away.
No, you get into, when you go on a date, in 3 months, you're going to know if that girl
can be a marriage material or not.
You know, man, especially if they're 5 days a week, 9 to 6, you know?
100%.
You get to know the person in and out, and if it doesn't work out, just like I'm sure people listening to hasn't worked out with females, you move on. You know, there's no harm done for both ways, and it's the end of the relationship. But before going to Dripify, and before sort of exploring digital tools, I always advise people, and quite often enough, people find people in their network that they've either worked with before, done a project with before, and offer the opportunity to other folks in your circle before you go digital. Because it takes a long process. Like I found a digital CMO.
A super cold way. True.
Yeah, it's a cold way, and I think business is it's a day-to-day emotional effect. You got to have each other's back is the number one. Trust is the fundamental. Like I know right now that I'm sat here at 6 o'clock, and my co-founder, he will still be in the office. Not because I've got a camera on him, but because he's grinding.
True.
You know.
True.
And that's how we operate. You know, we and that's what you need. You need sharks, man.
True. 100%. You need alphas as well.
Yeah. Alphas, yeah.
I want to ask you another interesting question. I do mentor in the American University, and a lot of entrepreneurs or founders, they always want to do something with tech. Okay, building an app, building a website that has an algorithm running behind. As I understand, you didn't have a technical background, nor your partner has a technical background. Am I correct?
Correct.
But you made things happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there, they have the same thing, but what stopped them? They say like, I don't have a tech background. How can I implement such idea without knowing anything tech? I can't code anything. I can't do anything. How did you manage this? Or what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, like I'll try and use an analogy of building a shopping mall. Like when I started that process, I didn't have a clue about how glass was made, but I engaged a competent pre-qualified contractor to come and put the glass in the building. You know, and I got free quotations, and I made sure that the glass was in compliant with laws, regulations, toughness, grade, it had the right film on it. Like I just done that through analysis of going to different service providers and making sure that the prices I was getting, that prices were pretty even.
True.
No one was up here and everyone was down here. So
managing the whole thing.
And
True.
if they were, I'd like dive deep into the bill of quantities and I'd say like, why is your rate so high on this materials? And if the guy couldn't substantiate why that was, obviously I'd just remove him from the tender. So where I'm going with this is when you're looking to build a tech company, you don't necessarily need to be able to code. You need to be able to trust someone to structure a tech stack properly. Now, the way that we done it, we learned the hard way, and we failed a lot. And I don't want anyone else to go through that experience. Well, I meet so many founders now who are starting. I'm supporting one company here in Dubai now who's launching soon. And they've, due to budget constraints, they've started in like India, Pakistan development teams, which is quite normal because it's a cheaper rate. Makes a lot of sense. Like you're not going to go to US and employ people because you haven't got the budget.
True.
So what's really important is getting the tech stack right. Like a shopping mall, the foundations.
Correct. Yeah.
Get the foundations right. Then when you start building up on AWS, Node.js, or the different technologies that you're integrating into your app, like the glass, the walls, the lighting, the flooring, it's all standard.
True.
And you can test your theory very quickly and fail and iterate. Because that's what it's all about with tech. Is
Mike, you told me when we were sitting before the shooting, because that's an interesting thing. You started development in a city, then you moved the development in another city, until then you moved it to your in-house.
Yeah.
So when you're telling people just start doing with somebody, outsource it, and then eventually you will come to the point that you will do things in-house, and that's what exactly happened to you.
Yeah, so I mean, what we done when we got a bit smarter is we use clutch.com, and if there's any entrepreneurs listening to this, they'll probably know it, and if you don't, great, go jump on it. So clutch.com is a sort of aggregator for all of the software development companies, and their previous clients can leave real reviews. So you can look at all these different suppliers and it gives sort of like an analysis of how they performed and all of this sort of stuff. So you can actually ring the founders from those projects and say, how was the coders? What were their names? So what we done when we moved our software to Ukraine is we've tendered it to 10 companies, bottled it down to 3. It was in line with our budget. And then we really drilled in on like specs, software development, who's the team building it. Not the big company.
Exactly.
You know, you want to know who's the end guy.
Who's coding.
Who's that guy? And what, is he stable? You know, is he like, what's his lifestyle like?
True. Correct.
So you really want to get very granular on who's executing your project, because although early customers and early adopters will forgive bugs and problems if you're solving a problem for them, that at some stage you need to obviously make sure that's not happening, and you've stabilized your business.
True.
To sort of cross chasms into different segmentations of early adopters, mainstream customers, and laggards.
True.
Yeah.
Let's move to Belong a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
So, tell us what is Belong in a nutshell, and how do you differentiate yourself from the other platforms, social platforms that we have now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think if loneliness was solved digitally, why is so many people lonely? And after they've used Belong, they're not lonely anymore. So when anyone asks me this question, I always refer them to like speak to our community as what we provide mean to them. And I mean, we've changed a significant amount of people's lives, including my own. I mean, from weddings, I got married through Belong.
Yeah.
I've been to other weddings through Belong. I've seen relationships blossom through Belong, networking events. So what it means is we've built a platform for normal people to do more together in real life. And I think that's something that's significantly missing from all of the other, I call them plastic products. Let's put a filter on this, make it look better. I feel insecure. I need to do this at the gym. I need to get plastic surgery. Like, it's all a big facade.
True.
And a lot of people sort of like look at Instagram daily, but don't know why. They don't know why they're doing it.
It's automatic thing.
They just don't know why they're doing
true.
it. Like, they just pull it out and they start cruising through it. And it's why? Where's the value? What are you doing there? Because you're getting served numerous ads, algorithms that are chucking you content that's like inspirational, but at the same time there's motivation from their side for it. So what Belong means to me is we've built a very, very simple and effective way to connect locally that's fun, free, and you can go out and I guarantee you have a good time.
Wow. Give us an example. Like, so what kind of service do you have? So it's an app that people can be a member or register on it.
Yeah, so it's a social feed for your city.
Okay.
That's organised by a variety of 15 core groups, from lifestyle, fitness, sports, wellness, foodies.
Wow.
So we hit all the main categories. So you go into those communities, then you're immersed with people in your city, sharing, talking, discussing things that you care about, through videos, through carousels, through comments, through likes, through an array of different features. We have an event side to the app as well, which is relatively popular.
Okay.
People host events and can go out and enjoy experiences. And
you're doing the events, or the community is doing the events?
A bit of both. I mean, more community than us, for sure. If you've got a side hustle and you want to monetize your skills, we facilitate that. We don't take any commission from that. We want you to host your passion and get rewarded for it. Instead of posting it on Instagram and then chucking it through WhatsApp groups. So like, we've got a main news page which is filtered to what you care about in the city with people like you. We've got an events page and we've got a discovery feature. Discovery makes it easier to wave and communicate one-on-one with people in your city.
What kind of business model it is? Is it a paid, it's a freemium, it's a premium, it's what?
So we have a subscription model.
Okay.
Yeah, so we obviously, as you've got a startup, a lot of startups are sort of scared of trying to monetize their app. But I always say, if you're providing a good service, people will pay.
True.
People will pay.
Exactly.
You know, people will pay. Some will, some won't. But I mean, the guys that normally don't, if you look at their lifestyle, they don't generally pay for much online. You know, it's a trait, it's a persona set.
True.
So what we offer as a subscription model is 9 items. We have 2 packages, Premium and Premium Plus.
Okay.
And we offer a 3-month and 6-month package that if you subscribe, you get it for 25% off and 50% off for the 6 months.
Okay.
So you unlock additional features.
What is the price, the ticket price?
Price is 24.99 dirhams and 49.99 for the Premium Plus.
It's pretty reasonable, actually.
It's reasonable. Why isn't it reasonable? Because we don't just lick our fingers and stick it up in the air and say 50 dirhams. You sit with customers and you think, right, where do you see the value? How can I make it more valuable? Would you pay $100? No, it's too much. Okay, would you pay $50? And then you whittle it down and you agree the price with people, and you cast your net on the majority vote. You put it into the product, you test it, you see how it performs, and you take decisions from there. So everything you must do with businesses, whether online or gyms or whatever, is your business model needs to fit and facilitate your end user.
I feel I'm sitting with a marketeer. Even when we were talking before, you said like, I just met 3 clients or customers or members
today,
of the community to hear their feedback.
Yeah.
And now when you said about pricing, you said like, I did focus groups. So you're I don't want to say you take it in the wrong way, but well educated how to put things in a correct place. You're not shooting from the hip.
Yeah. I mean, the answers lay with your customers. And when I meet other founders and they're like, this is the problem, I'm like, have you spoke to strangers? Stop them. Like, I had clipboards out, and my friend owns Gym Nation. So he used to let me sit in their gym with my clipboard, and when people are coming to the gym or finishing, I'd say, have you got 2 minutes? How do you meet new people? What's that experience like? Do you pay for the product? What do they use? What are your pain points? And they give you the answers. Very simple stuff.
From the clients right away.
But people are very scared to go out and do this stuff. But at the end of the day, in the same breath, they'll stick all their savings into a business without validation.
True.
Validation in business is essential to your success.
And one more thing, essential for the success, and you did it. Pivoting.
Yeah.
The business model that you have now, it was not like this before. You had to pivot. Can you take us through the pivoting phase?
Yeah, sure. So we launched initially, the app used to be called Ask Who.
Exactly.
Yeah, the app used to be called Ask
Even
Who.
the name, the branding was different.
Yeah, we completely rebranded the app. We went through hell and back. Went through hell and back. And you know, founders say, oh, you know, I've had some dark days. Bro, we went through hell.
100%.
We went through hell and back, man. The walls were crashing in. The lights was going out. No one was around. Just me and Matt.
I feel you.
With the alpha determination that we got to get it done.
Yeah.
We're deep, you know. Investors that gave us money, we need to get their money back. We got to figure this out. So we launched version 1. Although it was validated with people, it wasn't structured right. And the fundamental shift that we went through is initially when we launched the product, it was one-on-one. I would see you, you would see me. If we liked what we saw, we could get load of interest and suggest to go out and do things. But guys came in for the wrong reasons. Girls didn't like it. They left. Therefore, guys left, and we were left with nothing.
Correct.
You know, so we were left with nothing real quick. So we could see the problem. It's just like, right, how do you fix it? You know, it's like trying to make your app go through an organic viral. If everyone in the world knew how to make businesses go viral, there'll be a lot more billionaires on the planet than there is today.
Correct.
You do it through trial and error and persistency and getting it done. So we knew we had a problem. I went back to the streets, sat in coffee shops, shopping malls, asking strangers, can I have 2 minutes of your time? I said, I'm not crazy, but I've got a few questions. I don't want any money. No. I don't want any money. I just want to ask you some stuff. So we went back out there, got some new designs done, got on our side. Our investors kept us alive, and I was just so persistent that the problem is still there. It's just we weren't solving it. So we had a new idea and how we solve it, and it was groups. So then we went down the group road, rebranded the app completely from Ask Who to Belong, because we provide a sense of belonging, and it just felt like such a
You had an ego thing when you named it Ask Who or not?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it was...
To be honest, yes.
Yeah, to be honest, it was a bit of both. So I didn't name the initial app. I picked the name from an agency that we engaged. So I engaged an agency. Me and Matt, we had drawing boards full with names. We couldn't conclude on a name. We just couldn't do it. So we engaged an agency. When they pitched us these names, the last one there was Askew. And the first concept was about asking people if they want to do things. And my second name was Askew, so obviously it resonates with you immediately. The .com was available, believe it or not.
For an Askew?
Yeah, for Askew, so I got that. Yeah. It wasn't trademark registered. And when they pitched it to me, they said, well, Mike, if you turn Ask around, it says KSA.
Saudi
Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Where you had the idea?
That's destiny.
And I was like, wow, man, this is I was like, this is meant to be, you know?
Yeah.
Year later, it went in the bin. A year later, it went in the bin, and we changed it.
Wow. That's the power of pivot, actually.
Yeah.
It's not like giving up or leaving and closing and shutting down. Is you're persistent even to pivot. And that's how you are even up to this moment.
Yeah.
Michael, I heard that you said that loneliness is equal to 15 cigarettes.
Yes.
What is this?
So there's lots of statistics on how bad loneliness is for your mental health, and what that does to your body. And there's a factual statistic out on the market today, and please feel free to Google it, about how bad loneliness is in relation to health, and they correlate it to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, in Japan, every year it's like 25,000 people kill themselves because of loneliness.
Yeah, true.
It's crazy. Yeah. And the US is classed as like, they've got massive loneliness problems there. I mean, New York, we obviously launched a business there. It's one of the busiest cities in the world, and also, fact, it's classed as one of the loneliest. True. So it's the busiest and it's the loneliest. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why it's all towards, even like Asia has high rates of suicides, and I believe from this as well, loneliness.
Yeah.
Do you have any, like, you know, because I believe that's what makes you happy, like from the community, that people came to you and said, like, Matt, Michael, like, unbelievable, you really saved me. You really got me out of my loneliness. Yeah,
I've had a lot of deep conversations with a lot of people that have DM'd me on the app, and I've met them for a coffee, and there's lots of conversations that I've gone on that I've drove off from that conversation and thought, right, we've done it. That guy, it really changed things in his life, like fundamental changes, you know?
The impact.
So it's, when you're solving these sort of problems, but it's all about how you solve the problem, because if you hold a sign up in the air and say, if you're lonely, follow me, no one will follow you.
True.
You have to structure things in a way that are fun, but they're getting that feeling out of the product and resolving their problem. And that's a very hard thing to execute.
True. If I ask you what is a pivotal moment for Belong, it was going to be the rebranding phase, or like you thought that everything was going to crash and you had to?
It was all about retention on version 1. When we could see consistently that people weren't retaining, we knew that we had a significant problem. And then it was like, okay, let's tweak the marketing, because maybe we were getting the wrong target audience. But then we were like, it's not the target audience, there's something wrong with the app. Then we kept meeting people, and then we went into the group space. And it's funny, you know, it's like when you start designing apps, like I'm heavily involved with design, and when you start designing them, things start to make sense to yourself. Like things just, you have that aha moment, and it's like, okay, now this is great, and you only have to make a few tweaks and turns to go, oh. And then
that's how it works.
When we relaunched the product, our egos aside, our retention went from 0.2% to 37% 7-day retention, which is on par with Facebook. 8-week retention, which exceeds all the leading social apps. So we thought, wow, this is super sticky now. Now, how do we build in more value? How do we work closely with users to add in more value? And how do we scale this globally?
Wow. Another move which a lot of people is interested in is the scaling. You establish yourself and your company in the UAE, in Dubai, and then your move was to US. What made you choose US, and what made you think it is time to scale?
So when we grew the product in Dubai for a year, and we're still growing it here now. We never take our eyes off Dubai either. It's where we started, right? And it's a great market for us. So we looked at the world, not just the US. And it was like we were literally looking on Google of a map of the world.
Where to go?
But just then researching, like, right, we know that our average age user is 30. Where do the most 30-year-olds live in the world? Then what's the levels of loneliness in that world? Then what tools are they currently using to solve that problem? Are they as good as ours? And are they being used a lot? And what's their pricing models? So when we looked at the US, we couldn't find someone. I mean, our biggest sort of like comparisons is Bumble BFF.
Yeah.
And I looked at that product and I thought, all I can do here is swipe. That's all I can do.
Nothing else, yeah.
Whatever you look like, I take a split decision to swipe if I like the look of you. Whereas Belong is more about who you are. We don't care what you look like or what car you drive or where you're from. We care about you. That's what our product is all about. Yeah, so that's what we offer, is that community. So looking into America, why did we choose to go there? Because loneliness in US is significant in terms of mass problem. And we never had the budget to go across the whole of America because our app operates on a city by city basis. So we looked at San Francisco, 1.2 million people there, and thought, all right, I think we can make a dent there. And my wife used to live in San Francisco, and she said, the people that use your app here, Mike, like the people that are into experiences, foodies, wine lovers, hikers, she's like, that's the whole of San Francisco. You know, they wear fleeces and flip-flops, they're techies. So I moved over there for 6 months last year and launched the business, got the city activated, and it's growing extremely well.
When you're doing apps or communities, that's your app or your platform is a community based.
Yeah.
Do you change some features to fit particular cities or not, or it's identical?
It's slightly different in terms of logic on connecting people quick, like back-end logic that the user can't really see. And we've had to adapt and learn a lot between different markets and different cities. Like San Francisco guys behave very differently to the guys in New York. It's a different persona. New York's fast-pacing, very transactional. Yeah. What do you do for work? If it's not a trader, next, you know?
True. Next,
San Francisco, it's, oh man, you know, like...
let's go for coffee.
Yeah, let's go for coffee, and you want to go hiking, and they've got so much more time to give you, is what I've seen and witnessed over a long period of time. And each city has got such a different persona, so tweaking your product accordingly to the end user, wherever they are, is critical.
I want to move a little bit to a critical thing for any entrepreneur, funding.
Yeah.
How was funding looks like for Belong, and what kind of advice? Because of course, before that, you've never sought funding in whatever you were doing, and then you had a product. Maybe, of course, you made a bootstrapping, you started with a bootstrap, but then you sought funding.
Yeah.
And then, can you take us through this phase?
Yeah, I mean, although I never raised capital, I was very used to sitting in rooms with high-powered people and going through conversations that a lot of people would have got really uncomfortable because they're aggressive, because they're high-powered, and they want things done now, and I'm the guy that should be getting it done. Yeah. So I was used to pressure, and I was used to being told, like, from the hierarchies of, Mike, that mall, we got to finish it, mate, and you got to get it done. No matter what you do, there's the money, go get it done. So I was always used to the pressured situations and managing people, feeling them out, understanding a bit more about who they are, what they care about. So when we went to raise capital ourselves, we done a lot of research on books, strategies. I mean, there's a really, really good book that I emphasize for any founder to read called The 6 Secrets of Raising Capital. Fantastic read, man. It's like, read it twice, go to bed with it. Because if you follow that framework, your chances are going to 10x in reading it. But it amazes me, you know, a couple of founders at the minute, I said about reading certain books, and They met
no
me.
idea.
They met me, and they're hitting their heads on the wall. Can't raise money, and I'm like, you read that book, and he's like, oh, I'll get to it. I'm like, stop everything for a week. Read, study, research, be a master of the trade first. So when you go into the room, you understand what you're doing and how you
play the game.
Because to get money off someone at the early stages is trust. If you don't trust me, you're not giving me anything.
True.
So you know what I mean? So it's like being genuine. Don't change yourself. If you don't wear suits, don't put one on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
True.
Don't do something that you wouldn't normally do. Be yourself, and make sure that you've done your homework. Like when it comes to term sheets and articles of association and all the things that you need to go through, and like subscription advance documents and escrows to put investors' money in, and holding companies. All of these tools, you just type it in these days in ChatGPT. I mean, I never had that. Just type it in ChatGPT, and it will give you great index points and references that you can go on to leverage. But going out and finding investors, they call it the 3 Fs, and I'm sure everyone's heard of the 3 Fs. Family, fools, and friends. That's it.
Yeah.
But what me and Matt had is we had our own capital to start with.
So you bootstrapped it in the beginning?
I bootstrapped it initially because I significantly believed in the concept. Then when we saw that we had sort of like, we launched version 1, we had an investor on board, it didn't go to plan.
I'll stop you here.
Yep.
You had the capital. What was the runway for it? Like what kind of, because a lot of entrepreneurs are like, okay, I have capital.
Yeah.
So they did their math. I have 3 months runway.
I had it 12 months.
12 months, yeah.
Personal funding. I had 12 months runway.
And I believe that from my standpoint, I think that's the correct runway.
It is,
Yeah.
12 to 18 months.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then it's 12 to 18 months and the car engine blows on the car, or something, the washing machine, the washing machine goes, and that budget, because I was on 5,000 dirhams for a year, and something would happen, you'd be like, or you get a speeding ticket.
True.
And you feel like crying.
My runway is gone.
You feel like crying because you think, now, what am I going to do this month? But obstacles come as an entrepreneur, and what you need to do is iterate and save for the rainy day. But I always advise entrepreneurs, if you're not willing to build an MVP on web, forget app, you don't need it. You can build everything on web, and you can sit with customers, potential customers, and validate all of your hypotheses. If you're not willing to do that from $10,000 to $20,000 of personal money, and you're going out to family, friends, or fools to raise that money, you're not being true to yourself, man. Because if you really done your research and you knew you were solving a problem, you wouldn't want to burn relationships with anyone in the world apart from yourself.
True.
You know?
100%.
You want to put your own money into something. Because for me, when I went out to raise money, we knew we were in a position that we had to. You know, but we'd already come on a year, so we were developed. I look back and I'll say that now. We were completely undeveloped after a year. I'm still developing, but we knew a lot. You know, we knew where we wanted to take the technology. We knew the problem. We knew the market size, the commercials, how to monetize it. We were a little bit more advanced.
How many rounds of raising you went through?
To date, we've raised 3.5 million US. And I've done that completely with angel investors. 9 angel investors in total, ranging from, they're all very like-minded people that believe firmly in the problem. And then in the subsidiary business, I've done a crowdfunding campaign, and we've got 57 micro investors in that vehicle. So yeah, that we've raised money through angels.
Through angels.
High net worths. Yeah.
Very nice. If I ask you, what is your favorite failure to now? That you're proud of it. It's a failure, but you're proud.
There's been a lot. I mean, marketing. It took me a long time to understand with marketing that it doesn't matter how many fireworks you put up in the air. If you're not solving a problem, people will come, they'll watch the fireworks, and then they'll leave.
I love it.
They'll leave. And it took me a while to learn that, okay, what's the problem we're solving and what's our hook? from an acquisition perspective to how we get people. And lo and behold, it was the last thing that we expected. Our ads, all they say is a real group picture at an event.
Yeah.
Make friends in Dubai, or make friends in New York, make friends in San Francisco. That's it.
Yeah. There's no hitting the pain.
That is because if you want to make friends, you will stop scrolling and you'll click it. You know, but before we're influencers, this, doing that fancy stuff, no one cared.
True.
No one cared. So it's digital marketing has been a big learning curve for me in the business. And sort of a year ago, we hit the sweet spot. Through so much testing, but prior to that we burnt through a lot of cash on trying to find the sweet spot. But you only develop in life through trial and error.
In
So
in your worst time, how long you had a runway?
Oh, the worst one.
yeah.
Here's a good quote for you. The last card you turn is the only one that counts.
So you were close to
2 weeks.
shit.
2 weeks.
I had it in my life, the last $200.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why I'd like to
Tough.
ask. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
But the flip.
I put in over $100,000 and it was all gone.
Yeah.
And we were 2 weeks from closing everything, and I had nothing left. Zero. Rent couldn't be paid. I was in Dubai, stuck.
Yeah.
You know,
I know the feeling.
stuck, really stuck. And it was like, if we don't raise money, I can't even get a flight. And literally a few days after that, the message come, I want to meet. Then we went there. I'm serious. Term sheet out, and it's like, oh my god,
I was so close.
term sheet out, and it's like signing. Money's in the bank the following week. We're like, wow, right now we can go.
Yeah.
And that's what I say to people: is perseverance, man. And you really find out of what you're made of.
True.
And so many entrepreneurs that get to like Series A, B, C, D, they can sometimes forget because you go through a lot, right? But if you're like early stage and you're navigating through those, obviously you're going to have a lot of dark times. You have to go through them.
Yeah, true.
You have to go through
It's
those.
a must.
Do
Do you believe in work-life balance?
No.
Tell me.
No, I
Sleepless
don't.
nights, no vacations, no holidays.
I don't. I mean, I've got a friend over here who's just put his staff on 4-day weeks. I can't understand it. I can't understand.
You know, I have guests also like 2-3 days a week they work. It's like, teach me.
Yeah,
Teach
but
me.
I mean, a lot of people that I meet, they say that they work a lot, and then I'll see them on like pools and stuff like that. But like, generally speaking, and what you see with me is what you get.
Yeah.
We grind like a lot more than other people that I know.
You have a sports, like your character, you have a sports background or
no.
a martial arts thing.
No, I done a lot of boxing when I was a kid.
okay.
Yeah, done a lot of boxing, and so then I moved to Saudi Arabia, stopped training.
But you have this character of a sport, the never give up, the perseverance. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit until I crack it.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's the same, man. My dad's the same, and I think the genes it runs in the family, right? My dad's relentless. He's had lots of foul businesses. He's successful now, but when I was a kid, it was failure after failure.
True. Getting back
My
up.
mum thought he was nuts.
Yeah.
You know?
You're doing enough. We want to live.
So it's just like I say, it's persistence, but obviously you can't just run around like a headless chicken. You need to be strategic.
True. These days, a lot of people, or let's go, if we go back 10-15 years, if you said you're an entrepreneur, people will think we're idiots because it wasn't something people proud of. Now a lot of people wants to be an entrepreneur because it's trendy. They see all the Instagram things. They think that every entrepreneur has the best life.
Yep.
So we thought it's not the best life. It's a hard hell shit. But if you make it, you're building something. You're building a legacy. Do you think that everybody can be an entrepreneur or not?
No, I don't.
What are the traits of being a successful entrepreneur?
You've got to be slightly nuts.
Yeah.
You know,
The last $200, like, here you go.
you've got to be slightly nuts. I mean, you have to be extremely. You have to be very happy with uncertainty.
And pressure. True.
It's consistent uncertainty. But if you look back at the history for any entrepreneurs, they've all been like, it's all or nothing. And that's what I'm saying. When I meet an entrepreneur and he's got $50,000 in the bank and he's trying to raise money to test something, I look at that character and think, you're not cut for this, mate. If you're not willing to put your money down on the line, you don't believe in what you're doing yourself. Because why are you waiting to raise money? You know, your business evaluation would be so low. You haven't got a product. Build a product, get some traction, then go out and raise. Yeah, absolutely.
If I ask you, describe me your day as an entrepreneur. How does it look like?
Well, from Monday, it's everything is reviewing last week's performance. Every single Monday, me and Matt, half day, we review the previous week's performance. Every month, we review the previous month's performance based on our business plan projection. So like plan beats actual. So Mondays is all about data. What's going on from top of funnel, middle of funnel? What's the revenue like? How many subscriptions? How many cancellations? How many events? How many posts, comments, likes? That's
key KPIs, kind of.
Yeah, key KPIs, focusing on the details. And then throughout there, it's a composition of tech, sprints, features, users, development, customer interviews, understanding what's going on. Right now, we've got a lot of features that we're deploying, so now it's about prioritizing them in line with the requirements of the end user. Marketing, so it's product, marketing, shareholders, problems.
Firefighter.
That's the composition, isn't it? It's like, how's each city's doing, what's up, what's down, what's supply, what's demand, and navigating.
What's the next big thing for Belong?
Next big thing for us, so I've got the budget in the business now to get into a couple more US cities this year. And it's, like I say, US is going really well for us as a business. And it will continue to do so. Why? Because we solve a problem. It's as simple as that. And sure, someone else can come along and try and solve the problem, and that probably will happen, and I wish them all the very best. So the next big thing for us is, over the next 2 years, is US market. We'd like to get across pretty much all of the dominant cities, and then look over into Europe, but not forgetting MENA region and how
Saudi, for example,
mass market, man. I mean, Saudi, I'd love to get over to Saudi, and through my research, I've come to learn that Saudi Arabia, in terms of sharing things, they share more online than any other country in the world. They exceed China.
They're the country that makes Snapchat popular. Honestly.
They exceed China. It's insane. So I'd love to get over to Saudi. I think that every city needs somewhere that they can belong to. You know, it's a hub for a city. And if Nextdoor have proved it for hyper-local, older people talking about day-to-day neighborhood problems, we've just made it fun, fast, and enjoyable for people like us to get on a platform and have a good time.
You're on the Alpha Talks show. And we have the golden question. How do you define an alpha for you? What's an alpha?
An alpha is someone that has got the tenacity to keep pushing when everyone else is starting backing out. That for me, and I've seen it time and time again. When the sun's out, everyone's laughing and friends. Then the clouds come and you start to see the doubt, the fear in people's eyes. And I've seen it so many times through this journey and before. And they look at the problem. The alphas understand the problem and find a solution.
I loved it.
Cheers,
well
man.
said, bro.
Thank you.
We have a section here. It's called the Alpha Quickfire. So I'll ask you a set of questions and you shoot me the answers. So a person who influenced you the most in your life?
My dad.
What's the most unusual habit in your daily routine that contributes to your success?
Coffee.
Amazing. Similar. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Look for my cats.
What's one word you would use to describe the culture of Belong?
Universal.
One book that has greatly influenced your journey.
The 4 Steps to the Epiphany. Fantastic read.
True. Favorite city for organizing Belong events?
Dubai.
What's the most rewarding feedback you've received from a Belong user?
It's deep, but suicidal navigation.
What motivates you to get out of bed in the morning?
A lot. My wife, my cats, my business, my business partner, Belong.
An alpha. What's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself through the process of building Belong?
Grit.
Outside of work, what's your hobby?
Gym. But not it's gym, but work. This is my life, you know. It's,
Gym or work. What's the definition of happiness for you?
Happiness for me is being able to live comfortably and watching kids grow up, not wanting or can't have items that people should have in their day-to-day life. Things that I never had. That's what I'd like to give to my kids.
What's the single best piece of advice you've ever received?
You'll be someone.
Who said that?
A couple of people now. Yeah, and this is before, like, on delivery of my old projects and stuff like that. It's a lot of people start to get the fear, the clouds are coming, and it's not going to happen, and let's get it done.
Perfect one. If you could describe Belong in 3 words.
Community, trust, safety.
And describe yourself in 3 words.
Genuine. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Your wife will be watching.
Yeah. Hard-working. Relentless.
Wow. Well said. Michael, what will be the last message you want to leave our audience with today?
I guess if you're in Dubai, if you're in New York, if you're in San Francisco, and you're looking to improve your life, you're looking to share, connect, meet new people, and have fun for free, check out Belong, and you'll see me on there. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you don't like instead of what you do like, and we'll try to put it right.
Perfect. How people can get access to Belong? So it's an app, it's a mobile app, so they can download it from Android or Apple.
Yeah, iOS or Android, completely free to download. If you're in a city, I'm pretty confident that if you do use the product, you're going to enjoy it.
I'll put the links for the app from the stores on the description. And if people want to connect with you, how they can connect with you?
Through the app or LinkedIn or my website. Or if you really want to get to me, just email me and I'll give you a phone number.
Wife is watching. Okay, we have the last section of the Alpha Talks show. It's called the Alpha Talks Memoir. It's the Alpha guest has to do 3 things. The first thing is to write the experience about the Alpha Talks. Number 2 is to write a question to the next Alpha guest. It's a way of making the Alpha guest connect, and which means you will answer the question from the previous Alpha guest.
Okay.
And the third one, if you have somebody that you can recommend, add value to our guests, to our audience, you just let me know who can add value as an Alpha guest, the next Alpha guest. So are you ready for the question?
Yeah, ready.
What was the most or the best experience you had in your life? I completely changed the question.
It's going to sound very strange, but the biggest life change for me was leaving London and going to find out what I'm made of in Saudi Arabia. The biggest one. If I'd never done that, who knows
Exactly.
where I'd be.
Perfect. I love that. Michael, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Your story is amazing.
Thank you.
A lot of value has been shared in this show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming today. And I'm sure we'll have another episode with you where we drop more knowledge to the people. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Man,
Cheers. Thank you.
it's well deserved.
Cheers.
Thank you. That wraps another inspiring episode of today's show. I hope that this episode has ignited your inner alpha and left you feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to conquer any challenge that comes your way. Remember, alphas aren't born, they're made. It isn't about dominating others, it's about embracing your authenticity, leading with integrity, and making a positive impact on the world. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the Alpha Talks on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review and share the podcast with your fellow alphas. Also connect with us on social media at Saif Al Hakim. Share your thoughts, insight, and stories of personal and business growth with us. Let's create a movement of alphas supporting one another. The world needs more alphas like you exactly. Until next time, stay bold, stay driven, and stay alpha.